lived in a small village. The village was quiet. Green fields stretched far. A clear river flowed nearby. This river was Bulud's companion. He spent many hours by its banks. He wasn't like other young men. He found solace in silence. He found friendship in stones. Smooth, grey stones, rough, dark stones. Each stone told a story to him. He listened patiently. He understood their silent language. His world was built of these simple things. Nature was his closest confidant. He would sit by the river for hours. The water would whisper secrets. The wind would carry them away. Bulud gathered stones. He felt their weight in his hands. He felt their coolness against his skin. These stones were not just objects. They were pieces of the earth. They were ancient. They held memories of time. He would arrange them carefully. He would build small figures. Little people, animals, abstract shapes. Each creation was a piece of his soul. Each sculpture was a silent word. His hands moved with a gentle skill. He knew just how to balance them. He knew which shapes fit together. This was his escape. This was his expression. The villagers thought he was strange. They saw him alone with his stones. They did not understand his world. But Bulud didn't mind their whispers. But he had his river. He had his stones. He had his thoughts. His heart, however, was heavy. A quiet sorrow lived within him. A shadow that the sun could not quite chase away. The stones were his only true friends. They did not judge. They did not demand. They simply existed. Much like Bulud himself, he felt a kinship with their stillness. He felt a connection to their enduring presence. In a world that felt too loud, too fast, these stones were his anchor. They kept him grounded. They were a constant in his changing inner landscape. His days were a rhythm of solitude and creation, a melancholic melody played out by the river's edge. He was a cloud, drifting, but tethered to the earth by his stony companions. There was a time when Bulud's heart was not like stone. It was soft. It was full of hope. It beat with the rhythm of young love. He had loved a girl from his village. Her laughter was like the river's song. Her eyes held the warmth of the summer sun. He dreamed of a future with her, a future filled with light and joy. He poured all his youthful passion into this love. It was a beautiful, fragile thing, like a delicate flower blooming in spring. He believed it would last forever. But forever is a long time, especially for young hearts. Things changed. The laughter faded. The warmth in her eyes cooled. She left. The reasons were like sharp shards of glass. They pierced his tender heart. He never spoke much about it. The pain was too deep, too personal. It settled within him like a heavy rock. He felt a profound sense of loss, a hollowness that nothing seemed to fill. The world lost its bright colors. Everything turned to shades of gray. His dreams shattered. His spirit, once light as a cloud, grew heavy. It sank. It hardened. His heart, once so open, closed itself off. It became like the stones he collected. Cold, unyielding, impenetrable. He built walls around it, walls made of silence and solitude. He vowed never to let anyone get that close again. The risk was too great, the pain too unbearable. Love, he decided, was a cruel illusion, a fleeting warmth followed by an endless winter. He chose the company of stones because they could not betray him. They could not leave. His art changed too. Before, his stone figures were playful. They were light. Now they became heavier, more somber. He started creating pieces that spoke of his inner turmoil, figures hunched over in sorrow, abstract forms that seemed to cry out in silence. He poured his grief into the stones. He transferred his pain into his creations. Each piece was a testament to his broken heart, a heart that had, in its own defense, turned to stone. He was protecting what little was left of his fragile self. Ramil was Bulud's childhood friend. He was different from Bulud. Ramil was outgoing. He was ambitious. He saw a bigger world beyond the village. He often visited Bulud by the river. He watched his friend with concern. He saw the sadness in Bulud's eyes. He saw the way Bulud had withdrawn from life. Ramil's heart ached for his friend. He wanted to see Bulud smile again. He wanted to see the old spark return. He believed Bulud was wasting his talent, his life in the village. One sunny afternoon, Ramil came with a proposal. Bulud, he began, his voice earnest. Come with me to the city. He spoke of opportunities. He spoke of a new beginning. There are galleries there, exhibitions, people who would appreciate your art. You could make a name for yourself. Ramil painted a picture of a vibrant life, a life full of excitement and recognition. He believed the city could heal Bulud. It could offer him a fresh start, a chance to leave the shadows of the past behind. Bulud listened quietly. He looked at the flowing river. He touched the smooth stone in his hand. The city, it sounded loud. It sounded overwhelming. It was so far from his quiet world. He appreciated Ramil's concern. He knew his friend meant well, but the thought of leaving his village filled him with unease. This land was a part of him. The river was his solace. The stones were his voice. How could he leave all that behind? His roots were deep in this soil. "Thank you, Ramil," Bulud said softly, "but I cannot leave." His voice was firm, though quiet. "This is where I belong. My heart is here, with these stones, with this river." Ramil tried to argue. He pleaded. But Bulud was resolute. He was afraid of the city. He was afraid of change. He was afraid of opening himself up to new hurts. The village was his sanctuary, his self-imposed prison, perhaps. But it felt safe. The conflict between friendship and fear, between staying and going, tugged at him, yet he chose to stay. Life continued its slow pace for Bulud. He kept creating his stone figures, each one a silent testament to his inner world. Ramil, though disappointed, did not give up entirely. He still believed in his friend's talent. One day, without telling Bulud, Ramil took some photographs of Bulud's best works. He sent them to a small gallery in the city. He hoped for a miracle. He hoped someone would see the raw emotion, the unique skill in those stone sculptures. Weeks passed. Ramil almost forgot about it. Then, a letter arrived. The gallery was interested. They wanted to exhibit some of Bulud's pieces. Ramil was overjoyed. He rushed to tell Bulud. Bulud was hesitant at first. He was nervous. The thought of his private creations being seen by strangers was daunting. But Ramil's enthusiasm was infectious. A small part of Bulud felt a flicker of curiosity, maybe even a tiny spark of hope. Reluctantly, he agreed. A few of his sculptures, including one particularly poignant piece, were sent to the city. The exhibition opened. People wandered through the gallery. They looked at paintings, at ceramics, and then they saw Bulud's work. One piece in particular captivated everyone. It was called Dashurek, the stone heart. It was a sculpture of a human heart, made entirely of rough, grey stones. It looked heavy. It looked broken. Yet, there was a strange beauty to it, a raw honesty that touched people deeply. It spoke of pain, of resilience, of a heart that had endured much. It became the talk of the exhibition. Among the visitors was a young woman named Esma. She had kind eyes and a gentle smile. She was an art student. She felt an immediate connection to Dashurek. She stood before it for a long time. She saw more than just stones. She saw a story. She saw a deep emotion. She felt the artist's pain, his solitude. The sculpture moved her profoundly. She wanted to know who had created such a powerful piece. Who was this artist with a stone heart? A deep curiosity bloomed within her. She felt an inexplicable pull towards the unseen creator. Asma couldn't get the Dashurek sculpture out of her mind. She learned the artist's name, Bulud. She learned he lived in a village far from the city. She felt a strong urge to meet him. Perhaps it was fate. Perhaps it was her own intuitive nature. One weekend, she decided to visit the area near Bulud's village. She told herself she was just exploring, but deep down, she hoped for a chance encounter. She wandered near the river, the very same river that was Bulud's sanctuary. And then she saw him. He was sitting by the water. He was surrounded by stones. He was carefully arranging them. He didn't notice her at first. He was lost in his own world. Asma watched him for a moment. There was a quiet intensity about him. A sadness, yes, but also a profound connection to his work. She felt a strange sense of recognition. She hesitantly approached him. "Excuse me," she said softly. "Are you Bulud? The artist?" He looked up, startled. His eyes were guarded. Bulud was surprised to see a stranger, especially a young woman from the city. He was wary. He confirmed he was Bulud. Asma introduced herself. She told him how much his Dashurek had moved her. She spoke with such sincerity. Her words were gentle. They were not intrusive. Bulud found himself listening. It was rare for him to talk to anyone about his art, especially someone he didn't know, but Esma's genuine appreciation disarmed him. He saw no judgment in her eyes, only understanding. They talked for a while that day, about stones, about art, about feelings. Esma didn't pry into his past. She simply shared her thoughts on his work. She saw the talent. She sensed the deep sensitivity beneath his reserved exterior. For Bulud, It was a strange experience. He felt a tiny crack in the stone wall around his heart. A small ray of warmth was seeping in. Esma's presence was like a gentle rain after a long drought. He didn't know it then, but this accidental meeting was the beginning of a significant change. A dialogue of hearts had begun. After their first meeting, Esma found reasons to visit the village again. Sometimes she brought art supplies. Sometimes she just came to talk. She never pushed Bulud. She was patient. She understood his need for space. She simply offered her quiet companionship. She admired his new creations. She encouraged him. She saw the beauty in his soul, even when he couldn't see it himself. Her belief in him was a gentle, steady force. Slowly, Bulud began to trust her. He started to look forward to her visits. Her presence was like sunshine. It began to melt the ice around his heart. He found himself smiling more. He even laughed sometimes. A sound he hadn't made in a long, long time. He started talking about his feelings, about his past. Not all at once, but little by little. Sharing his burdens made them lighter. Esma listened without judgment. She offered comfort and understanding. She showed him that it was okay to feel. It was okay to be vulnerable. She helped him see that his sensitivity was a strength, not a weakness. His art began to change. The heavy, somber tones started to lighten. He still used stones, but now his figures seemed less burdened. There was a hint of hope in them, a sense of movement, a suggestion of flight. He created a sculpture of a bird taking wing. It was a powerful symbol of his own emerging spirit. He was slowly, carefully, learning to open himself up to life again, to people, to the possibility of happiness. The world around him seemed brighter, the colors more vivid. Esma was the catalyst for this transformation. Her kindness was the key that unlocked his frozen heart. She saw the real Bulud, the talented artist, the gentle soul hidden beneath layers of pain. She helped him rediscover himself. She showed him that love didn't always have to mean pain. It could also mean healing. It could mean growth. A new spring was dawning in Bulud's life. The harsh winter was finally beginning to recede. He was starting to believe in second chances. He was starting to believe in love again. The bond between Bulud and Esma grew stronger with each passing day. Friendship blossomed into a deep, tender love. It was a love built on understanding, on mutual respect, on shared dreams. Esma loved Bulud for who he was, his quiet strength, his profound artistry, his gentle heart. Bulud, in turn, adored Esma, her warmth, her unwavering support, her ability to see the light in him, even when he was lost in darkness. They found in each other a safe harbor, a place where their souls could connect. Esma encouraged Bulud to share his art with a wider audience. She knew his talent deserved recognition. With her support, Bulud started to participate in more exhibitions. He even considered Ramil's old suggestion about the city, not to escape, but to grow, to explore new possibilities. The city no longer seemed so daunting. With Esma by his side, he felt he could face anything. They made plans together. They talked about their future, a future filled with art, with love, with shared purpose. Bulud's art continued to evolve. His stone sculptures now told stories of hope, of healing, of the beauty of human connection. His Dash Urek was still a powerful piece, but now it represented not just pain, but also the resilience of the human spirit, the ability of a broken heart to mend, to love again. His work began to attract more attention. Critics praised his unique style. Collectors sought out his pieces. But for Bulud, the greatest reward was sharing his journey with Esma. They decided to build their life together, a life that balanced the peace of the village with the opportunities of the city. Bulud never abandoned his river. He never abandoned his stones. They were still his source of inspiration. But now, his world was bigger. It was brighter. It was filled with Esma's love. They were a team, supporting each other's dreams, facing challenges together. Hand in hand, they walked towards a future that promised happiness and fulfillment. Their journey was a testament to the power of love to heal and transform. Years passed. The future they had dreamed of became their reality. Bulut became a renowned sculptor. His name was known far beyond their country. His unique stone figures graced galleries and museums worldwide. Each piece told a story of human emotion, of struggle, of hope, of love. He had found his voice, and the world listened. He never forgot his humble beginnings, the river, the stones, the pain that had shaped him. But now, that pain was a source of strength, a reminder of how far he had come. Esma was always by his side, his muse, his partner, his greatest supporter. She had her own successful career as an art historian, but her greatest joy was their life together. They built a beautiful home. It was not a grand mansion, it was a place filled with warmth, with laughter, with creativity. Their home had a garden where Bulut sometimes worked, surrounded by flowers and the gentle hum of bees. It was a far cry from the lonely riverbank of his youth. Their home was a smiling home, a testament to their enduring love. They had children who grew up surrounded by art and love, children who learned the value of kindness, of perseverance, of following their dreams. Bulut taught them about the language of stones, but he also taught them about the language of the heart. He showed them that it was okay to be vulnerable, that true strength lies in openness, in connection. His own life was the greatest lesson. From a heart of stone to a heart overflowing with love, his journey was an inspiration to many. Bulut reached the peak of his creativity, but he never stopped learning, never stopped exploring. His love for Esma was a constant source of inspiration. Their life together was his greatest masterpiece. He often thought back to the young man he once was, the sad, lonely boy by the river. He wished he could tell him that things would get better, that love would find him, that his stone heart would one day learn to beat with joy again. He was grateful for every step of his journey, for every stone that had led him to this life, a life full of love. Bulut's story is a journey from a stone heart to a smiling home. It is a story of transformation. It reminds us that even in our darkest moments, hope can find a way. Even when our hearts feel like stone, love can bring them back to life. It teaches us about the power of art to heal, about the importance of human connection, about the courage it takes to open ourselves up after being hurt. Bulut's path was not easy, but he found his way. With the help of a true friend and the love of a remarkable woman. His life with Esma shows us the beauty of a shared journey. They built their success together. They nurtured their love. They created a family. Their story is a beacon of light. It tells us that true happiness is found not in isolation, but in connection, in loving and being loved. It reminds us that our talents, our passions, can flourish when they are shared, when they are supported. Bulut's stones, once symbols of his pain, became symbols of his strength, of his capacity for love. The most important message from Bulut and Esma's story is this: never give up on love. Protect it, cherish it, and never ever leave your loved ones alone. The people who love you, who believe in you, are your greatest treasures. They are the anchors in your storms. They are the sunshine after your rain. Ramil's friendship was a lifeline for Bulut. Esma's love was the key that unlocked his heart. Without them, his journey might have been very different. So hold on to those who matter. Life will bring challenges. There will be moments of sorrow, moments when your heart feels heavy like a stone. But remember Bulut. Remember how he found his way back to light. Remember Esma's unwavering faith. Love is a powerful force. It can heal wounds, it can build bridges, it can turn a heart of stone into a home filled with smiles. So open your heart, let love in, and share your love with the world. For in loving and in being loved, we find the truest meaning of life. Don't let fear build walls. Let love build a home.